Hey, it's Jim McElvain with Optima Batteries, and we're looking at my 2013 Ford Flex that does not have an Optima battery in it. And I'll just cut right to the chase on that. We don't offer direct fit replacement for every vehicle. So even the Optima battery guy has a vehicle here or there that doesn't run an Optima battery. But this car does have our Optima Digital 400 maintainer and charger. And it's charging this battery. And this vehicle, which really has not been driven very much since what, February 23rd? So coming up on a month and a half of just sitting. And what I want to talk to you today about is milk. Why milk? Well, because there's been videos floating around of milk trucks dumping their milk. Why are they dumping the milk? People say they should give that milk to homeless shelters and, people that can't afford it. How do you give it to them? Okay, the schools are all shut down. The restaurants, the arenas, people aren't, buying milk in the normal places. Demand has dropped significantly. It's not like they have big coolers where they can put these gallon, milk, and they have their production kind of dialed in. There's a certain ratio of single-serve milk cartons and bottles and quarts and half gallons and gallons that get produced in the big bags of milk that go to the commercial operations. It's not that easy to call up the guy that makes the 1 gallon jugs of milk and say, hey, can you go buy a bunch of equipment to make more milk and install it and get it up and running and produce way more gallons of milk or milk jugs for us so we can put all that milk in these gallon jugs, because people will buy it and tell that guy, but you may only need to do that for a week or two or even a month or two, and then you'll never need to use that equipment again because the demand will go away. So nobody's going to do that. Very few people will. I saw a story on a guy making masks, and it's the same deal with him. He's expanding his production as much as he can, but he's not investing in more employees and more infrastructure because he's done that before. He's had these scares come up with swine flu, where he's produced masks domestically, and then as soon as the crisis is over, the hospitals abandon him and go for the cheaper stuff that they get from other countries. So the reason I mention all that is because who knows what happens when the country stops driving their cars for 4 or 6 or 8 weeks and then comes and decides, okay, let's all drive our cars again. The answer is no one knows what happens because it's never happened before, okay? And the same scenario can unfold with car batteries, like this one that I have here, that people are experiencing right now with masks and milk and meat and bread and toilet paper and all that stuff. Everybody that manufactures products or produces products for consumption tries to run as efficiently as possible, okay? Car battery retailers, whether it's a big box place or an auto parts store or mom and pop place, they're not selling a lot of car batteries right now because nobody really needs them. Nobody's driving their car to know that they need a new car battery. So the demand has dropped off. Fill rate's really good. Everybody has what they need in inventory. Warehouses are filled. But at some point, as this continues on, they're not going to keep producing these batteries because batteries are also like milk, although they've got a longer lifespan, they're perishable items. A battery, doesn't matter who manufactures the car battery or any kind of battery, it's moving closer to death or the end of its useful life as soon as it gets produced, okay? They have finite lifespans. And battery manufacturers have finite supply chain resources, trucks, warehouses, things like that. So there's plenty right now, okay? And there'll be plenty next week. But what happens if May 1st or May 15th or May 30th or whenever that date comes that everybody goes to start their cars and their cars don't start because they haven't taken care of their battery? Alleviate that issue for yourself and your family. $89.99, Optima Digital 400 battery maintainers. You can buy them off our website. Super easy to use. There's a red and a black alligator clip, okay? And the black is on the ground on my car, which is technically the proper way to do it. Some people put it on the black or negative terminal. If that all is Greek to you and you don't know what you're doing with it, car batteries come with these, well, there's YouTube videos on how to charge your car battery, okay? But the basic is there's a negative terminal and a positive terminal. Red is positive, black is negative. If you just plug our maintainer into the wall, the clips won't spark, so you're not gonna create a hazard. You plug them on your car. If you're not plugged in the right way, our maintainer will tell you, and then you can plug it in the right way. And then even if you don't, it has one touch functionality. So I just press this button right here and it starts charging. But even if you don't do that, if you just have it plugged in and connected to your battery, that'll eventually turn on by itself, charge your battery, and then go into maintenance mode, okay? So these are really simple to use, and the really unique feature about these, maybe not unique because it's, you know, there may be one or two other chargers on the market that can recover deeply discharged batteries, but there's very few, if any, that will go down to 1.25 volts, okay? A normal car battery is fully charged at about 12.6 volts. And many chargers and maintainers will not turn on if a battery has been discharged below 10.5 volts, okay? Our chargers and maintainers can recover batteries that have been discharged down to 1.25 volts. And again, nobody knows, because nobody's gone through this before, what's gonna happen when the country turns back on and people need to get to work. I mean, you can guess. What are you going to do if your car doesn't start? What do people do in the winter when their cars don't start? They call AAA. So AAA will run out of batteries first. If you went and had your oil changed and they said you probably need a battery replaced soon, now is the time to get it, okay? All the stores have them in stock. Sealed AGM batteries like OPTIMA batteries can be shipped to your doorstep, okay? And there's a couple other, you know, other stores have AGM batteries. I don't know if they can ship them or not, but we certainly can, all right? Ship those batteries, and then you'll at least have the battery. If you don't even know how to install the battery, you'll at least have it. And you may be one step ahead of people who don't have the battery and need it. And I'll tell you something about newer cars. A lot of them only fit one size battery. If you had a 1980 GMC pickup truck, you can probably fit 4 different battery sizes into that truck and they'll all work great. Okay, if you have a 2015 Toyota Prius, it takes a DS46B24R battery, all right? Reverse termination, pencil post tops, not these thick standard SAE. It takes one battery, okay? And most of those Priuses, a lot of them are in California. So if you're a Prius owner in California and you think your battery's on its way out, boy, do yourself a favor, keep it charged, okay? And if you think you need a replacement battery, sooner rather than later, because nobody knows. There could be a run on batteries when this is all done. And I imagine there'll probably be other products that people may need that, you know, they're just not thinking about right now. But for sure, this car is discharging the battery as it sits, as is that BMW. Even that old GMC pickup truck slowly discharges the battery. It's got a digital clock in there. You know, it's got a couple things. It probably has a 25 milliamp draw. It can probably go a couple months. This car probably can't go a couple months before it discharges its battery. And there's cars on the road today. The nicer, the newer, the higher end they are, the faster they'll discharge that battery. And for some, it may only be a couple of weeks. Some will discharge batteries that in vehicles that get driven regularly but don't get driven the right way where a vehicle's charging system has the ability to charge it. So please tell your friends, tell your neighbors, your loved ones, charge your battery, okay? If you can't get or you can't afford one of our chargers, and again, OptimaBatteries.com is where you can pick those up, $89.99, shipped to your doorstep. Microprocessor chargers and maintainers, microprocessor controlled chargers and maintainers are the best ones to use. And boy, be careful out there, okay? Because when this all ends and we all want to get back to work and we all go to start our cars at the same time, I'm telling you right now, a bunch of them aren't going to start. Will it be enough to cause a rush on batteries? I don't know. Nobody knows the answer because it's never happened. But as we've seen with milk, we've seen with toilet paper, we see with, you know, a lot of staples at the supermarket, there's going to be runs on stuff. And you don't want to be caught with a discharged battery and your car only takes one kind of battery and no auto parts store in town has it because You drive, a Honda or a Toyota, one of the best-selling cars in the country, and they all use the same size battery, and they're all gone. So please, take care of your battery now. And if you need to replace it, and you know you need to replace it, and some of you do, now is the time to do it. Thank you. Be safe.